Okay, what's up everybody? I've been getting some requests lately to do a video on how I breed ball pythons. So I had a little bit of spare time and I thought I would go through a couple things with you guys and hopefully help some of you guys out, like some of you starters just getting into this. And I can just kind of show you what I've been doing over the last 3-4 years. So basically, what I do is in mid-September, I will cool my breeder racks. That's this rack right here. This is for all my females, and that's all my males right there. I'll cool those two racks down. I'll drop the temperature. I don't turn the heat all the way off. I'll just turn it down to about 82, 83 degrees from 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Now I use these, I got a Herpstat and I got these two Vivarium electronics, so they do have night drops on them. So you can just set it and it'll automatically lower the temperatures at the specified times that you want. So right now, as you see, they're both sitting at, or if you can see that, they're both sitting at 90 right now. And about 6 o'clock tonight, it'll gradually start to lower temperatures from 6 till 6 a.m. It'll go down to 82 degrees. So mid-September, we'll do that. And then I'll keep doing the night drop all the way through to about February, March. And after I've been cooling for about 3 to 4 weeks, I'll start introducing males. And usually for, this will be my 4th year of breeding now. The past 3 years, it's instantaneously. As soon as I throw the males in, they're locked up by morning. So that cool down period's, I think personally it's very crucial. I know a lot of guys don't do it. But if you have, a decent amount of females breeding, I think your odds are going to work out better if you do a cool down period, because then the females are going to start producing follicles, and it's going to just get them into breeding mode. So that's basically what I do, and I'll throw all my males in for about 2 to 3 days, or if I see that they've been locked up and they're done, I'll take the male out, and once all the males are out, I'll feed them all. It doesn't matter if it's been 3 days, a week, whatever. I'll offer them food after 3 days just to keep their size up, because the breeding does take a lot out of them. So I'll give them a 3-day on, 3-day off period. And obviously, same thing for the girls. The girls usually they'll get a little bit of a bigger or a longer break because, I've got, say, for instance, my sugar male, he's breeding like 3-4 females. So this girl, this pastel here, is going to get a nice break until that sugar rolls back around to her, right? So that's basically what I do. And I'll keep feeding the females and the males for as long as they'll take food. I've got a couple girls, the first week I started cooling, they were eating like champions. The first week I started to cool, they went off food instantly. And this is, it's the same girls kind of do the same things every year, it seems like to me. So, like, for instance, this pastel, she still eats like a champion. And this is one big pastel. I've had her since she was just a baby. And she's sitting at about 3,100 grams right now. This is as big as she's ever been. And she lays a clutch every year. Her first year, she laid 7 eggs. Last year, she laid 9 eggs. And this year, she's about 600-700 grams bigger than the year before. So I'm hoping for a 10-plus egg clutch out of her, which would be really, really nice. I'm breeding my sugar to her and just the sugar. So I'm hoping to get, some great odds on some pastel sugars. Would be real nice. But that's just a basic run through. I mean, it's not rocket science. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this is exactly how you do it. This is just how I've done it over the years. And it seemed to work really well. Like, I had 6 females going last year and 5 of them went. And the one girl, I think she just needed a break. She'd bred 3 years previous, so that's another thing too. If they don't have their size back up at least from the previous year, I'd really think about, you know what I mean, if unless they're huge already, 2,000 plus grams. But if you're breeding 1,300 gram females, you got to be really careful because they do tend to slug out. It's the same thing when you breed smaller and younger males too. That's a lot of times how you'll produce a lot of slugs. Like I've probably produced over 100 eggs over the last 3 years, and I've got one slug out of 100. Because like I do minimum breeding weight for a female. I'll do 1,600 grams minimum weight. I know you can go a lot lower. I've heard of people breeding at 1,200 grams and getting clutches. That's just not how I do it. I just like to be safe, get a nice viable clutch, because it does take a lot out of the female, you know, like laying their eggs and just everything like that. So I want to make sure that I'm getting a nice clutch out of that girl for the one time a year that I can produce some eggs, you know, so. But that is a basic run through of how I breed. What else can we talk about? Age too. Like I've had year-old females that were 1,400 grams, which is, you know, breeding size, but they're just not mature enough to breed. A year and a half, that's when that pastel started breeding. She was, you know, a couple thousand grams at a year and a half old, so I introduced some males to her, and sure enough, she laid a 6 or 7 egg clutch the first year, all healthy, big eggs. So, you know, about year and a half is that minimum for me. Males are a different story. I've seen 400 gram males that are 5 months old produce clutches, so I can't really say anything about that. They're just probably going to be pretty small for next year if they go off food. That's the only thing. So if you're going to use that male for 5 females, it's good to have him up around 1,000 grams because he's going to lose a lot of weight if he goes off food for sure. So. But that's about it. And this is my breeder rack here. There's 10 breeder females in here. And then I've got another 3 in that rack right there. So 13 females ready to go this year. It's more than double what I had ready for last year. And it's just going to keep going like this year after year. I got grow outs. That whole racks. Those are all grow out females. Those are last year's babies. I got like a bumblebee, a pinstripe, het clown, het pieds, and they're all a year old and they're 1,350 grams. But they're just, you know, they might be up to size for this season, but they're going to be a little bit young. So let me go through a couple animals. I don't want to do a vid without showing off some snakes. My Enchi male. So 2012, you know, he's about 400 grams. I'm trying to get him up to size for late this season. Would be really nice. If not, then next year he'll just be running through all my girls. There is my butter spider male. Same deal with him. You know, he's a 2012 too, so see what happens. If we can get him up to size for late this season, or who knows. And the males I'm working with this year, I got a pewter het clown, a fire, a yellow belly, a pied, a phantom, a sugar, and that is it. You know, I've got some males dedicated to just one female, and then males like the phantom, the sugar, the pewter, they're going to be breeding multiple females. So that's basically it. Let's go out on this. Let's look at a couple of these girls. This is my Mojave female who's breeding my phantom this year. She just finished eating. Just live mice. Just gave her 6 live mice, as ridiculous as that is. Just to, you know what I mean? If she's going to keep eating, I'm going to keep feeding her. Because she's about 2,300 grams, first year breeding her this year. So I'm hoping, you know, we get a decent clutch out of her. This is a nice looking Enchi female, Enchi 100% het pied. You can see these girls too. A lot of them are laying on the cool end. So that's a good sign, you know. I've seen signs of bull wrapping and laying inverted already, which are also great signs of producing follicles. So if you're seeing stuff like that, it's definitely a good thing. Don't get all freaked out if your snake's laying upside down. Like this girl here too, you see her laying on the cool end. It's just another 3,000 gram normal female. I've got a lot of, well, not a lot. I've got 3 normal females that are all over 3,000 grams. That'll be breeding this year. And let me give you guys a little breeding tip, or breeding tip. Let me give you a little feeding tip. I started doing this year. Like, I had some, you know, picky eaters, like I'm sure all you guys have with ball pythons. I feed Fridays every time right when the sun's starting to go down. So it'll be dark in this room and I'll turn a light on in the hallway just so I can see. But I feed in the dark, and I mean I can go through every single one of these racks and not one snake turns down a meal. Because it kind of makes sense, right? They're just waking up, they sleep all day, and they're getting up and they're hungry. So instead of waking them up in the middle of the day and going, here's some food, you know what I mean? They just have much, much better feeding responses at night. So if you guys got any picky eaters or you want to try something new, try that out. I'm telling you, it works really, really well. I couldn't believe how good everybody's been eating this year. That's why some of these girls are as big as they are. Like that pastel, for a girl who lays a clutch every year and just put on 700 extra grams this year from what she was last year, is pretty impressive. So really happy with her. Yeah, that's about it, guys. I hope I helped some of you out. I know a lot of you guys don't need this info, but for you guys getting started out, you know what I mean? And you guys have been asking me to do this, so here it is. Hope you guys all have a good season and subscribe for more videos. Take it easy.